We are back. Yes, it is season 7 now of The Masked Singer. I've got my handy-dandy Toy Story 3 notebook. I keep all my masked notes in here. We're going to go over tonight's competitors who I think could be under the masks, and we will also have a live reaction to who got unmasked, because I don't know. We'll talk about it right now. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It, and yes, welcome back to The Masked Singer. We are in season 7 now. I've been doing these Masked Singer recap and reaction videos for a few seasons. I think season 3 maybe is when we started. Actually, I guess my handy-dandy notebook would tell me, yes, season 3 begins the notebook. So, there we go. So we've been doing all of that. Masked Dancer is even in here, for that one season. I don't know if that's returning, but anyway, welcome to Dan Reviews It. Thank you for checking in with this video. We have a nice community here of healthy commenters. A lot of people love chatting about The Masked Singer, and it's really why I started doing these videos in the first place, because so many people in my life did not necessarily watch the show, and I wanted someone to talk to about it. So I said, well, let's put it up on the YouTube and see who responds. And it's always great to hear from you guys in the comments. So I really want to know who you think is under these masks, because I got to tell you, I have little bitty clues that maybe I'm onto something, but these first 5 singers are tough. I'm not exactly sure where to go with a lot of them, so maybe you guys can help me in the comments. Okay, so before we get started on this specific episode, some overarching things with the season on the whole. As far as I know, we did not get any of the superlatives that we usually get, meaning, there are 30 Grammy nominees, the cast has 30 Grammy nominees among them, or, 5 Oscar wins, or, 4 Olympic gold medals, whatever it is. To my knowledge, we don't know any of that information, so maybe that will be forthcoming. I don't know. There was a preview show about 2 weeks ago that I did not catch, but so far as I know, they didn't say it in there either. But I do have all of the little preview clues from that night, so I will say those along with each performer. One other thing about this season that they're not doing is there doesn't seem to be a golden ear trophy, because no one is making first impression guesses on the panel. So the last, I guess, 3 seasons, we've done the golden ear trophy with everybody writing down their first impression guesses from the very first performance of the singer, and then we reveal those later on when they get unmasked eventually, and then the panel can change them or not. But they didn't write down any of their clues, and in fact, when our person is revealed at the end of the show, Nick didn't tell us any of their first impression guesses before that. So I don't think they're doing that this season. I think that's out. So one more personal note. I read the news about the Rudy Giuliani thing. I don't know what they're going to do with that, if they're going to air that or not. Whatever the case may be, I don't think his character sang tonight. But I am really kind of angry at this show. It's very obnoxious, that they would do something so volatilely political. They had Sarah Palin on a few seasons ago, and I don't particularly care for her, but I get it, but she's been out of the spotlight for years. Rudy Giuliani, is currently under investigation on a lot of charges, and I don't get too political on this channel, but I think most of you kind of know my feelings anyway. So I don't know how the show is going to handle it if they do. I know that Ken and Robin walked off set when that happened. Was that maybe blown out of proportion by the media? Yes, probably. But I'm not sure if they're going to air that segment or what they're doing. But anyway, that isn't on this episode, so we'll deal with that, I guess, when we come to it. But tonight we had the Thingamabob, the McTerrier, the Cyclops, the Firefly, and the Ram. And the teams this season are split into the good, the bad, and the cuddly, and they're letting them all sort of perform together. So tonight we had 1 from the cuddly, 2 from the good and 2 from the bad. And the judges have sort of unofficially taken sides as well. Nicole is on for the good, Jenny is on for the bad, and the men are doing the cuddly. So, all right. So we start with the Thingamabob, and this is from the cuddly group. And interesting because, of course, we had Thingamajig a few seasons ago, and that turned out to be a basketball player. I think that was the one that was Victor Oladipo. It gets a little hard to remember, this many seasons in, but I think that's true. So the preview clue here was a photo of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And then all of the clue packages tonight were in a clue-mercial. So it was basically the singer hawking some kind of merchandise or whatever, and then sort of doing like a little infomercial about it. So here we saw a little ornament for Hotel California, like a Christmas ornament. The bulldog, who was painted gold, but we'll remember the bulldog was Nick Cannon back a couple of seasons ago when Niecy Nash covered like half the hosting duties. We see a tackle box and a net, so something maybe with fishing, Robin was thinking. A Save the Thingamabob jar for like a charity with a bell on it. And then we saw a bald eagle fly in at the end. And he sang "Wanted Dead or Alive" by Bon Jovi, a karaoke staple. It was a fine performance, but I don't believe this is a professional singer. But two of the three panel guesses, I should say, disagreed with that because they were thinking maybe James Hetfield from Metallica. That was Ken's guess. But Jenny was thinking more of a sports star, an athlete, particularly perhaps with the WWE, and she said Chris Jericho. However, he is a singer. His band Fozzy does very well on rock radio, but I don't think that's his voice singing this song. And then Robin said Terrell Owens from football. I was thinking football before the panel's guesses, and I will tell you why. Okay, so I am from Philadelphia. I live a couple hours out of that now, but my whole family, lives and breathes green for the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of clues here lead me to believe that this is somebody, formerly on the Philadelphia Eagles. First of all, the fact that it's Thingamabob and we had Thingamajig, who was a sports star. Before I even knew anything, before I saw the clue package, I thought this is probably a sports star. They're going sort of hand in hand with the Thingamajig. So, distant cousin kind of thing or whatever. Okay, so the tackle box, Robin was thinking fishing. I immediately thought tackle as in football. That was obvious to me. Hotel California is a famous song by the Eagles. So there's a Philadelphia Eagles connection. The bald eagle that flies in at the end of the clue package, that's an obvious one. And then the jar with the bell on it, well, it wasn't necessarily a bell with a crack in it, but the Liberty Bell is from, of course, Philadelphia. So I already was thinking this has got to be a Philadelphia Eagle. So when Robin said T.O., Terrell Owens, that made a lot of sense to me. So I am going to go with Robin on that guess. I wasn't exactly sure if that's the person I would have guessed on the Eagles, but once he said that, I was like, no, that totally makes sense. He's exactly the, I think, level of celebrity that would do this show. People that don't even follow sports know who T.O. is. So I think it makes sense, and that is my guess there for the Thingamabob. All right, so up next is the McTerrier, and he comes from the good team. The preview for him, a blue guitar with the Union Jack on it. That's, of course, the British flag. So the clue-mercial for this one was all about this towel that can do it all. So we see, a candle with a flame on it. We see an axe with a star on it. There's a red cake, a gold record. And he says this towel cleans up to the edge, which Ken was thinking, oh, maybe the edge from U2. And then he sang "Working for the Weekend" by Loverboy. And he said afterwards, because somebody had mentioned, I forget who on the panel, said that the Scottish accent, they didn't quite buy. I think it was maybe Robin, said that the Scottish accent was put on. And so he gave us and if it's not Scottish, it's crap. I'm bad at accents, so I'm not going to try to do the accent. But that is, of course, a classic Mike Myers phrase from the SNL days. And so there you go. Now, before we go any further with the rest of the evening, the McTerrier is the one who got voted off. So we are going to do the reveal here. I still don't know who's under the mask, but I have the guesses from the panel for you, both the first guesses and then when we revealed that he was going to be going home. So let's talk about that for a second. I do want to say also, his head came off a little bit. Well, came completely off, but he turned away enough that the panel said they didn't see him. I believe them because he turned away very quickly. But yeah, he looked like it was hard for him to see in there. So he ended up kind of falling and the head sort of rolled off. So, all right. But they didn't see anything. So they continued on. Ken's guess was Mike Myers because of that whole, if it's not Scottish, it's crap thing. Nicole and Jenny were both thinking Ewan McGregor, perhaps. Scottish, certainly in nature. And then Robin was not buying the accent. And he thought it was a musician, but not a singer, mainly. And he thought maybe it was Flea. You know, a guitar, of course, known as an axe. We saw the axe, you know, in the clue package there. So, all right, it could be, I suppose. However, well, okay, so the final guesses. Let's get to the final guesses. Ken said Mike Myers for the final. Robin said Flea. Nicole said Ewan McGregor. Jenny switched it up, though, and she thought it could be a comedian who has some cutting comedy with the axe there. And she thought maybe it was Jeff Ross, the roast master, you know, with candle with the flame, you know, roasting. We got it. All right, but here is my guess. I don't have a clue, but I have a couple of thoughts. I don't love any of the panel's guesses, really. I think Robin's probably the closest with Flea. I do think it is a musician, but not a lead singer musician. The song was, you know, the performance was okay, but better for maybe like a background singer in a band or something. The thing that is throwing me a little bit is the Union Jack. Okay, because I do think, yes, this Scottish accent is fake. But even if it is, Robin said Flea. Flea is, as far as I know, from California. All the Red Hot Chili Pepper songs are from California. You know, so I think that makes sense. But one thing that nobody on the panel really picked up on, Nick said it, but nobody sort of ran with it. When the McTerrier came out, he started air drumming a little bit, right? So when Ken said Mike Myers, I did think Dana Carvey, because Dana Carvey does know how to play drums. He's done it on a few different occasions on talk shows, and I don't know if it was on SNL or one of his movies or whatever, but I guess it was in Wayne's World. I guess it was Garth in Wayne's World was drumming. So, okay, I thought maybe there. But again, not British, not part of a band, so I couldn't really connect a lot of the other things. But then I thought of a very famous drummer from an incredibly successful British band. So there's the Union Jack. Plenty of gold and platinum records, for sure. In fact, one of the greatest selling records of all time. The axe with the star on it. All right, well, I can't quite figure out the axe part. But this person did a guest spot on Star Trek. So that could be the star in question. I think there was even something with the candle, too. Blue Flame or something is one of their songs. All right, so I think, and I'm probably way off on this, I think this is Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac. It could also explain why he was having trouble seeing out of the costume, because he is in his late 70s. He could be even 80 at this point. A lot of those really old 60s rockers are pushing 80. Paul McCartney, I think, is right around that age. So, I don't know. This could be way off. It could be any number of other people, but that is my guess. And you know, if you watch this show regularly with me, I these are legitimate guesses because I usually have no clue. But let's try it out. They're going to take it off. Let's see if it's Mick Fleetwood here. I would love that. The air drumming is what sort of set me on that path. Let's see it. pastry chef. Duff Goldman? Okay, I gotta be honest. I don't know who that is. That is... They're gonna have to tell us all the clues on that. I don't know who this is. Alright, so they're talking about when his mask fell off. Duff Goldman. That's a new one for me. Alright, he doesn't sound British or Scottish at all. The sheet cake. Yeah, there was a red cake, I said. The sheet cake is a clue to his profession, of course. Oh, he's on Ace of Cakes. I have heard of that show, Ace of Cakes, but that didn't lead me to him at all. Alright, Ken's very happy to meet him. The axe is a nod to his appearance on Chopped All-Stars. I know that these shows exist. I don't really watch any food shows. So, for me, that is not something I'm familiar with. I was so proud of my Mick Fleetwood guess. Darn it. All right, well, they might tell us one more thing while he takes us out here. All right, well, there's the first one for the season I've never heard of. And sometimes you guys help me in the comments. Sometimes if there's somebody I've never heard of, you'll be like, oh, check this person out. And sometimes it is them. But, all right, Duff Goldman, that is a new one for me. All right, McTerrier. Well, that's very disappointing. I am certainly 0 for 1 this season because, yikes, no clue. All right, so let's try to move through these other ones here. Cyclops is next from the bad team. The preview clue there. The pirate treasure map with 200 north and 4 south on it as directions. We also saw mountains, palm trees, a sparrow, and the skull and crossbones. So obviously some sort of pirate reference. All right, the clue package had to do with sort of like a Monsters, Inc. theme. And there was a compass there as well with a south and east direction. Cowboy hat on a turtle. Comic book that said evil beastie. Because he's on the bad team, that makes sense. And then there was a rocket ship in the background. There were so many things in the room because it was like sort of like a little kid's playroom like Monsters, Inc. So, I saw some pool balls, I think. There was like a bunch of stuff that I just didn't write down. But the song he did was Creed's My Sacrifice. And Nick asked him why he chose Cyclops. He said he connects with monsters more than heroes. All right, so the guesses from the panel. I don't think any of these actually are terrible. I just don't really know where to go with this character. Billy Zabka from Jenny. He is from the Karate Kid movies and Cobra Kai. Danny McBride from Nicole, and she thought maybe the south and east on the compass had to do with his program Eastbound and Down. Not bad. And then Rob Dyrdek from Rob and Thicke from the Big and Rob show. And, of course, he does Ridiculousness, I think. Look, I don't think any of these are bad guesses. I'm a little confused about all the pirate stuff. But I feel like maybe with all the pirate treasure stuff, we are looking towards some 80s movie classic, maybe not Karate Kid, but maybe Goonies, okay? So, I'm not sure what some of these other things mean, but southeast could reflect the Goonies going sort of down in the the trench there. The hat on a turtle I don't quite get, unless maybe this person did a guest spot on Entourage or something, because, of course, Turtle was in that. So, look, I'm not positive on this, but I do think 80s movie might be the way to go. I think Goonies is the answer. But whom? Corey Feldman, we know, likes to think he's a singer, but he can't sing. He stinks. And this performance was not all that great, but I don't think it was as bad as a Corey Feldman performance. So I guess maybe I will go with Sean Astin. I don't know, but all of the clues, all the pirate stuff from the preview, made me think like, okay, it's not Pirates of the Caribbean. That's like way too obvious. But, I don't know. The treasure map and the southeast stuff, and it makes sense to me. I'm going to say Sean Astin. We didn't see any Lord of the Rings clues, but I don't know. Maybe that's coming later. That's what I'm going to go with. All right. Firefly was next, and she is on the good team. Her preview was a sparkly tiara with 3 pink jewels. We saw an Apollo program, like from the Apollo Theater, that said live comedy. We saw Tyler Perry photos, or a photo, I should say, a mini Statue of Liberty, and then a stand-up mic and a table. So, thinking maybe somebody in stand-up comedy, and she sang Ain't Nobody by Shaka Khan. Now, originally, this song only lasted about 30 seconds, and she had a coughing fit. So they cut to commercial, and then they came back later, and after our final performer, who is the Ram, they brought Firefly back, and she said, no, I want to sing again. So she sang the whole performance, and it was great. Best performance of the night, for sure. Not even close. And so the guesses from the panel: Alicia Keys, a lot of New York references, that makes sense. Ken, I think, said that one. Aisha Tyler from Jenny because of the stand-up clues, also pretty good. And then she also thought it could be Monica, which is sort of funny because I was thinking maybe Brandy. With some of the clues, she has been in a Tyler Perry movie. And so Nick did ask her about, what it was like when she had her coughing fit earlier. And she said, look, I've been performing all of my life. I love stepping out here on this stage, and I was going to get back out. So, okay. Performing on stage, that to me certainly says either singer or stand-up comedian. It doesn't necessarily say actor to me. So I'm a little torn here. I don't hate the Aisha Tyler guess, though. She does do stand-up. I'm not positive, but I think she's from New York. And she has, the name, Aisha Tyler, Tyler Perry. They do some name things sometimes with the clue packages. I don't hate that guess. Now, can Aisha Tyler sing like this? I'm not sure. But everything she's done that I've ever seen is, pretty solid. I enjoy, her comedy. I enjoy her, TV performances. She's hosting Who's Line right now. Which also, could be considered live comedy, So, I don't know. The sparkly tiara, I don't know what to do with that. I was thinking Brandy maybe because she did Cinderella in that TV movie years ago. But you know what? They do so much with the name plays. I'm going to go with Aisha Tyler because I do think it's a stand-up comic. I think they're sort of leading us in that direction. So I'm going to say Aisha Tyler, I guess. All right, so finally we've got the Ram. He is on the bad team. The preview for him, a blue football helmet with a yellow number 6 on it. And then for the clue package, we saw Hamlet X Macbeth, like times Macbeth. So that could mean many things, but obviously some sort of maybe Shakespeare reference. We saw a referee doing, the touchdown symbol, whatever. To me, that's more like field goal, but I don't really watch football. But Jenny said it was touchdown, so okay. Either way, football term. Then we saw a quarter return on a piggy bank, so quarterback. And then we saw a pony or a horse or, I don't know, a colt. I wrote that down. And then he said he followed in his father's footsteps. All right, so he did I Want You to Want Me by Cheap Trick. I did not think this was a great performance. I thought maybe the Ram was going to go home, but all right. And he said he's heard boos and cheers while under hot lights. So, Nick was basically asking what it was like coming on the stage for the first time. And so there you go. Under the lights, well, of course, we know what that means from Friday Night Lights. Football again with the lights shining down. Certainly boos and cheers. You get that in football. Okay, so the guesses from the panel were all football-related people. Jim Harbaugh, don't know who that is. Matthew Stafford, don't know who that is. And I'm really mad Robin said this because this was going to be my guess. I know very little about the Colts, but when I saw that pony there after all the other football clues, I thought, okay, a pony is also known as a Colt. Let's see if I know anybody from the Colts. And I was like, well, I know one person. And I did have to look it up because I wasn't 100%, but I was like, I think Peyton Manning was on the Colts. And so I looked it up quick before Robin said it, but Robin did say Peyton Manning, and that is my guess. I really think, it could be Eli Manning too. I don't know if he ever played for the Colts. I don't know his background, but Peyton Manning was a Colt, probably the most famous one there is. So, It would be very, very weird if the only two first impression guesses I got correct were the football people. But I really think it's T.O. and Peyton Manning. I do. And if you watch my show regularly, you know I don't know sports. Half the time they say people I've never heard of, like Victor Oladipo. Didn't know him until Masked Singer. But T.O., I certainly know because of the Eagles connection. And Peyton Manning, everybody knows him. So, maybe it's somebody a little bit less obvious. I don't know, but that's what I'm sticking with. I sort of like those two guesses. The other two, I really don't like that much. Aisha Tyler, not loving it, but that's what I'm going to go with. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And of course, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do that. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs before too long. I just got over 900 about a month ago, so very excited to keep that momentum going. So please do subscribe. And other than that, let's get ready for a great season. We'll find out what they do with the Rudy Giuliani mess, I guess, in the coming weeks. But stick with me, and we will figure out who is under the masks together. We'll see you next time. Bye.